There's a new challenger to the continental TV market and sports content as its main value proposition. Kwese Media is a subsidiary of the Econet Group. The firm covers at least 20 countries and it's entering a challenging market which has long been dominated by South African group Naspers. The firm has pay TV operations in 50 African states. Subscription revenues, though, in its last year fell 9% to $2.8 billion and it lost over 300,000 subscribers in the first half of the year. Now, to understand Kwese's business strategy, CCTV's Ramanyang spoke to the channel's general manager in Kenya, Monica Ndungu.
I think we're looking at this as a gap. I know the people who've been there and not done too well, but what Kwese has done is identified a gap in the market which really nobody's serving. So when you look at that gap, it exists for 18 to above 34-year-olds, male, who consume content very differently. They really love a lot of sports, action, and things like those, and they're not getting it anywhere. When you look at the market you're talking about, on free-to-air, there's a lot of soaps and entertainment. But Kwese really has identified a niche for itself around sports and sports-related content. And we think it's a market that's untapped, and we're happy to go into it.
So help me understand this. When we talk about the TV market in Africa, I mean, we tend to bundle a lot of things in there. There's a free-to-air crowd, which are public broadcasters or privately owned ones across specific geographical regions. Then you've got the satellite players, your DSTVs, your Zukus, and so on and so forth. So with regard to the niches in there, where exactly does Kwese fit, especially in terms of distribution?
Okay, Kwese finds itself amongst a bigger group, that's Econet Media, but then is negotiating for rights across various platforms. So whether it's online, whether it's pay, whether it's free. Therefore, our what I would call our offering is multi-platform, and therefore the niche we're identifying is at all levels of this platform. So when you talk about online, when you're talking about free-to-air, and when you're talking about pay, we then find ourselves with a niche product we think that sits very well with audiences across Africa.
So when you talk about a bundled product, I mean, like if I pay for one package, does that entitle me to pretty much all the offerings on FTA, satellites, mobile, and so on?
Each works as a separate, but as part of a group, and that's what it would be.
So it would be rational for me to assume as well that Kwese Media does have some sort of synergy at play with other elements of the Econet Group, like Liquid Telecom, for example, because they've got the biggest fiber optic network across sub-Saharan Africa.
In this context, I would like to limit myself to what it offers in broadcast, but it definitely would be something Kwese is looking at, yes.
All right, let's talk about the sports deals. EPL. This is probably your biggest draw card,
yes,
especially for free-to-air viewing.
Yes,
tell us about that. How did that deal come through?
Well, that was negotiated from a group point of view, and for us is one of our most exciting things that we're going to do. And we get one game a week on free-to-air at 5 o'clock Kenya time, which will begin this Saturday, and therefore it offers Africans a chance to watch the EPL without having to pay for it, which is for us one of our greatest things when we look at it.
How then do you recoup your costs? Because the EPL isn't cheap. I mean, it costs a ton of money to get those broadcasts right. So if you're, on one hand, I know you do resell these broadcast rights onto various broadcasters on FTA platforms, but where else would you recoup your costs?
So like I said earlier, we're multi-platform. So the rights we're negotiating for are on various other platforms. So like you said, one of the ways to recoup our revenues is through sub-licensing. It could be advertising, it could be subscription. So it's a mixture, it's a hybrid of a system to ensure then that the costs that we're incurring in buying these rights are then recouped, and we do make a profit out of it.